Okay, so I'm William, Will Tell from the forums. I'm here to give you basic instructions on how to disassemble, clean, and reassemble the Mikuni VM24SH carburetor. This guy. Okay, so we have our mock cylinder and carburetor set up here. We set this up just so, we take these bolts out, but we wanted to show you how to do the throttle and all that because it's a little tricky. So the trick is you got to take this cap off here. And there's like 78 million threads. It takes forever. Alright, so the spring will pop out, and what you do is just pull on that and the throttle will come out with it. And then I put 2 fingers here, like so, and then push down on the throttle link, or on the throttle sleeve, I'm sorry, and you'll see that'll actually come out like that. Move it over to the larger hole, and then as you let that out, it'll go right through, disconnect just like that. And then this you can leave with the bike, or in this case the nothing. So I'm just gonna drop it over here. Alright. Okay, so now we're down to just the carb. So thing is, first you're gonna start by removing the mixture screw and the idle air control screw. So let me get my tools here. Alright. So the idle is a thumb screw, it'll come right out. Just gotta back it off. Alright, and then you need a flat head screwdriver, or in my case, hose clamp, to to pull this one out, the mixture that is. Okay. Makes for an exciting video. I'm going to try to move through this pretty quick just to keep the video short. And, considering that I'm making it for the forum, most of you guys already know pretty much what you're doing. So take a pick or some such object and lift that spring out. Eventually. There it is. Just a little spring like that. Okay, so the next deal is to take off the choke lever assembly. And that is pretty simple. It's just a 12mm bolt head here, which of course I put in, so it was way too tight. Yeah, Ed and I have a big thing, a big joke is that I put in everything about 4 times as tight as it needs to be. And of course all his stuff comes loose. Okay, so all the external parts are off, and all we gotta do is get down onto the inside. So Phillips head screwdriver, Phillips head screws go together like a horse and carriage. One down, 3 to go. Probably should have done that in the first place. Alright, so hold it like this, and the float bowl will just drop right off of the bottom of the body of the carb.
Don't forget to tell them to watch out for a lot of gas.
Oh, right. And so as you're taking this off, remember that this thing has been on a bike anytime in recent history that's going to be full of gas. This one's been sitting in a big plastic box for about a year, no gas. So then, and down here, all you got in here is the floats So make sure that the pins are facing down. Just take those out. Actually, that's also going to contain a main jet, which I removed previous to making the video and didn't realize it, but that's pretty straightforward. It sits in here like so. Take 10 mil, break it loose, and it comes right out. And the thing you want to make sure that this exists, because sometimes they just don't. And I had one running for about 3 years that didn't have any sort of main jet in it at all, just banjo bolt ended. But these things happen. And then for this guy, it's held on by a pin going through these two pegs. So just take a punch and push it through. Sometimes they get stuck and you gotta punch them out a little bit, but if it's been cleaned recently, they usually come out pretty easy. And so this is a 10 mil. You're gonna have to stick a socket on it.
And we're back and recording and fresh batteries and everything. Sexy.
Alright, so let's delve right back into it. I had just removed the, what the hell is this jet called? Pilot jet. Pilot jet, just removed. So now we gotta take the needle jet out, which is a job for pliers or whatever. And it's supposed to have a little O-ring on it. If you don't have one, if it doesn't have an O-ring, go to Murray's and get one. Especially if you're bogging at about halfway open throttle, because that'll explain it. Because what that'll actually do is, this is going to sit down right in here with that O-ring, and it's supposed to seal up, and if it's not, it's going to be sucking raw fuel in from the float bowl, and that'll give you a ridiculously rich mixture, which could be the cause of your problems. It's got two washers, a big one and a little one. Take those both out, and then for this jet, you're going to actually have to hit it out with a punch, or in my case, a Suzuki case screw. You shouldn't have to hit it hard. Sometimes they seize up if they're old, but if they've been removed recently, like this one I did earlier today, it'll literally just fall out. Oop, toss that aside. Then we got a gasket to remove. Again, I already took this one apart earlier, so a lot of times they won't come out that easy. All you got to do is get a flat blade, or in my case, a hose clamp, and you're just gonna. Actually, let me just throw that back on. So if this thing's stuck on you, you just. I'm not entirely certain what that was.
I think it's time to change the music.
Indeed.
Modern phonograph machine. New technology, of course.
Yes, yes, yes. Very top of the line tube technology.
Brand new in 1962. Bada boom, bada bing.
Ah, bliss.
Blissfulness.
Okay, anyway. So, as I was saying, if this gasket gets stuck, just dig under it and pull it up real careful. Try not to tear it. Alright, so, got this O-ring to get out here, which, take a punch and try not to damage it. Or a pick, rather. Pops right out. And, I believe that's everything that needs to be removed. So now that this is totally empty and this is totally empty, what we do is we're going to separate out all of the rubber and metal parts. So rubber parts go in this pile, and now all of the, it's mostly brass, all that goes right back in the float bowl. Main jet, pilot jet, holding pin, and then for the choke, see the choke comes apart pretty easily, and it's got this little rubber guy on there, and usually the rubber guy doesn't want to come off, but you just gotta fight with it a little bit. So I usually leave all the choke pieces besides the plunger and the housing, because those are the only things that are actually going to get dirty enough for you to care about cleaning. Of course, throttle slide. So we're going to take this and this outside, hit it up with the carb cleaner. Okay, so now we're outside, ready to do the actual cleaning of the parts. So I've got, of course, the body and the big bunch of crap. So what you're going to want to